Howdy, hi. It is Do Your Job Sports. This is NFL Week 7 picks and predictions. We are looking at the top 8 best bets. Let's get into the video. First things first, we're going to recap the previous week's picks. We go 3 and 3. So we'll talk about these games and then get on to the 8 picks for Week 7. First game, Thursday night game, we had the over 47.5 and between the Niners and the Seahawks. This one was looking really rough at the end of the first quarter, with the score being 3-0. But then the teams just decided to score a ton of points in the second half, so this one cashed pretty easily. Next game, we had Browns plus 8.5. This one was a winner. In my humble opinion, the Browns should have won this football game, but they didn't because Stefanski doesn't know how to call plays, and our kicker doesn't know how to kick a field goal. So we lose the game, but cover the plus 8.5. Then in the final game, we have Bengals plus or minus 3.5. This one was really greasy. Bengals get a touchdown with about 3 minutes left on the clock to cover this number, and we cash. Then we had three losers. Seahawks plus 3.5. They decided they did not want to play any defense tonight, allowing the Niners to go for basically 500 yards. Can't win a football game when you're giving up 500 yards. We had Cardinals plus 5. I think I'm going to stop betting the Cardinals now. The only good receiver they have is Harrison, and he left the game in the second quarter with a concussion. So, no more reasons to bet the Cardinals. They suck. Then, for some reason, I thought the Cowboys plus 3.5 at home would be a good bet. They are horrible. They got to figure out what they're doing with their roster. They don't have a running back who can run the ball. They got rid of Pollard. They didn't sign Henry. They said, hey, I have an idea. Let's get Zeke back because surely he'll be good at running the ball still. No, Ezekiel Elliott needs to retire. He sucks. If you want to get a running back that's good, bring back Todd Gurley. Or how about go get Peyton Hillis, even though he's probably like 42 years old. Go get somebody else. They got to find somebody to bring back on this team because they don't have anyone who can run the football. All right, so that is how we went 3 and 3. Let's get on to Week 7 picks. First game, we are running it back, taking the Browns at home. I'm going to take them plus 5.5 on the spread. I think I'm going to keep rocking with the Browns until we start winning football games or they fire Kevin Stefanski. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I am a diehard Browns fan, realistically anything Cleveland fan. And Kevin just can't call plays. He's horrible at it. Our defense played pretty well against the Eagles, minus 2 big chunk plays, but all in all, defense played pretty well. We might be getting Chubb back this week. He's questionable. That would be a massive boost to our offense. As our backup to Chubb went out of the game with an injury, so Ford, don't think he's going to suit up this week. Really need Chubb to play. In terms of straight head-to-head matches here, in terms of rankings, Bengals have the 12th ranked offense at averaging 363 yards a game. Browns have the last ranked offense in all of the NFL, which is disgusting considering we have Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and supposedly what is supposed to be one of the better lines in the league. But our offensive line riddled with injuries. We are now down to our third string backup center. I don't know how the hell we're going to be good at football. Anyway, Browns defense a lot better than the Bengals defense, so that is one good thing here. We are ranked 14th. Bengals ranked just 22nd in the league. This game really does just come down to if the Browns offense can actually score. And considering how bad the Bengals defense is, I think we should be able to put up some points. So I'm going to take the Browns plus 5.5 at home. Maybe we win this game. Who knows? Next game, it's the London game. Patriots and the Jaguars. No real team is home here because, again, it's in London. So whatever that. The more I watch of Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars team, I think this dude is buns. Like, you got to put in somebody else because it's just not working. He's missing targets, and when he does hit the targets in the end zone, square in the chest, they just drop the ball. Whether it's Kirk or Evan Ingram or whoever he throws the ball to, they're just dropping it. That being said, Drake May making his second start, and it is in London. Both these teams very bad. I don't see why this is a 5.5 point spread. They both suck. In May's previous game, they lost 41-21 against the Texans. I think Drake May played pretty well in his first start. He was forced to throw the ball a bunch, considering they were down almost 20 points the entire game. So that is what contributed to the 2 interceptions for sure. But he did have 3 passing touchdowns. Again, 2 interceptions. But when you're throwing the ball 50 times a game in your first NFL start against a top 10 defense in the league, you're going to throw a few interceptions. Jaguars defense is ranked 30th in the league, giving up 404 yards a game. I think Drake May is able to torch this defense. So give me the Patriots plus 5.5. Probably going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. I have zero faith in any portion of this Jaguars team. So I'm going to take the Pats plus 5.5. Next game we're looking at, it is the Houston Texans heading into Green Bay. I'm going to be on Texans plus 2.5. I really don't understand how the Texans aren't favored in this matchup. Both of these teams coming off of dominant wins to much inferior opponents. They played the Patriots and they played the Cardinals. So, yeah, they won, but they were both supposed to. The Packers have played realistically two good teams this year, and they've lost both of those games. They played the Eagles and the Vikings. They lost them both. Texans should be able to take care of business here. I really don't understand how this isn't a pick 'em. In terms of offenses, these teams are ranked 4th and 5th, averaging 397 and 409 yards a game. Granted, the Texans are without Nico Collins for this one. They just put that man on injured reserve, so he's going to be out for a decent amount of time. Packers have Jaden Reed listed as questionable, one of their best wide receivers, so another interesting thing to keep an eye on there. The edge here definitely given to the Texans. They have a much better defense. The Texans defense is ranked 4th in the NFL, giving up 300 yards a game, compared to the Packers being ranked 19th, giving up 360 yards a game. Next game we got, it is the Lions and the Vikings. I am betting two things in this game. I'm going to take the Lions plus 2.5 and the over of 50. I really don't. I can see both teams winning this game realistically. They're playing really good football, but I'm going to rock with the Lions, based on what they just did to the Cowboys in Dallas. That was a murder. That was a legalized murder of what took place there in Dallas. Lions come off of beating the Cowboys 47-9. 47-9. And the Vikings coming off of a bye week after beating the Jets. Lions offense ranks 2nd in the league, only behind Baltimore. They're averaging 432 yards a game, compared to the Vikings, who are averaging just 342 yards a game. These defenses both ranked in the middle of the pack, so they're sitting right next to each other at 15th and 17th. That being said, the Lions did just lose Hutchinson for this season, and probably someone next year as well. If you saw that injury, good God. It reminded me of, like, I don't know when this was, Louisville player, March Madness, Kevin Ware. Remember when that man's shin just popped out of his leg? Oh my God. I'm getting physical reactions to that. That was gross. But that is immediately what it reminded me when I saw the video. I was like, God damn. So yeah, I'm going to rock with the Lions here. If they don't win or cover this number, I'm assuming it's because this game just went way over the total. Without Hutchinson, I think the Lions are going to struggle to get pressure on Darnold, and that man's just going to be able to throw the ball wherever he wants. So I'll take the Lions plus 2.5 and the over of 50 as a slight hedge, just in case the Lions defense sucks ass. Next game we're looking at, it is the Panthers heading into Washington, take on the Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders minus 7.5. Commanders coming off of a tight game against the Ravens where their defense could not stop Lamar and basically anybody on that team, to be honest with you. They let him go for 484 yards. Thankfully, we now have a ginger quarterback coming in who is immobile. Basically put this man in a wheelchair. You got Andy Dalton. That dude can't leave the pocket. He's basically entrapped in a circle, and he's not allowed to leave that circle because he's so old and fragile. Commanders offense ranked 7th, averaging 391 yards a game compared to the Panthers, who are ranked 27th. Granted, that number is probably a little better with Dalton because they had Bryce Young to start the year and they took him out. So I'm assuming with Dalton, the Panthers offense probably ranked somewhere around 20th, maybe to 22nd, because they are a little better with Andy at quarterback somehow. I don't know how that's accurate, but it is. Anyway, they're coming off of a 18-point home loss to the Falcons. Panthers defense is atrocious. They have given up a minimum of 34 points in each of their last 3 games. They're giving up 385 yards a game this year. Daniels and everybody's got on the team, they're going to be able to torch this Panthers secondary. I do not think the Commanders defense will give up a lot of points. Panthers, the only thing you really got to worry about is the running game. They have a few strong running backs. I'm not too concerned about Dalton at quarterback because he has nobody to throw the ball to. So I'm going to take the Commanders. I could easily see them scoring 40 plus points here. 7.5 seems a little bit too low for me. I probably would have laid this number at 10. So I will gladly take the 7.5. Next game, Chiefs Niners. Obviously, you got to take the Chiefs. You can't take the Niners in this situation. It's Brock Purdy versus Pat Mahomes and company. Ain't no way I'm not taking anybody but Mahomes. Chiefs going to dismantle the Niners. Chiefs are the best team in football. They've been basically the best team in football for a while. The factor plus 100 doesn't make any sense. This is probably my favorite bet of the day. Chiefs do have some injuries to deal with. You could look at their injury list. It's quite long, and it involves a decent amount of people who you probably want on the football field, but they make it work. As long as Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are on the field, and you got Andy Reid calling plays, I'm going to take them against basically every single football team in the NFL. Niners coming off a win against the Seahawks. Chiefs coming off of a bye week. So the players who are actually healthy on the Chiefs should be very well rested and ready to kick some Niners ass. Chiefs roll. There's no way I'm laying minus 120 with Brock Purdy at home against a team who's just constantly been winning Super Bowls recently. There is no way. If you're giving me straight up Mahomes versus Brock Purdy, it's just not happening. Give me Mahomes. Give me the Chiefs plus 100 to the bank. Next game, this is a fun one. It is New York at the Steelers. Now, when I was typing this stuff into my computer last night, the Jets were, I think, plus 2.5. And now that the Davante Adams news has dropped, they have moved to minus 1.5 favorites for very good reason. There is no chance I am fading the Jets for the first reunion game of Davante and Rodgers. That's just got to be sacrilegious. I'm hoping this is the spark they need to get the Jets season back on track. They really should have won the previous game, but Greg Zuerlein misses 2 field goals inside of 45 yards. I don't know what the fuck that dude's doing, but he has not been it this year. Again, Jets coming off of a tough loss. Steelers coming off of a win, 20-point win, mind you, against the who did they play? I think they played Vegas. Yeah, they did play Vegas against the Raiders. These two teams, very similar numbers offensively, being ranked 22nd and 24th in yards per game. But with the addition of Adams given to the offense, I think that's going to boost them up a little bit. So I'm going to give the edge to the Jets here. Don't really care that it's in Pittsburgh. Plenty of Jets fans will make the drive to Pittsburgh. Not sure how far that is. I'd guess 5 or 6 hours. They'll make the drive. It's the Jets. They're on crack. Defenses here both really solid, ranked 2nd and 8th in the NFL. But I'm going to give the Jets the edge. Better quarterback, better wide receivers, better defense. Honestly, probably better running back too. Give me the Jets. They have it in all facilities, minus the kicker. Fuck you, Greg Zuerlein. All right, final game. I think this is one of 2 Monday Night Football games. It's the Ravens and the Buccaneers. The Ravens are going to say hello to Baker Mayfield once again. Haven't seen him in a while, ever since he left Cleveland, but now they get to go and shake his hand. This game should be very high scoring, considering we have the best offense in the league, and then you have the 8th best offense in the league. Ravens averaging 460 yards a game. They've scored a minimum of 28 points in their last 4 games. Tampa ranked 8th in yards per game at 385. They just scored 51 points against the Saints in their previous game. Neither of these teams or defenses are very good, being ranked 18th and 28th in yards given up a game. That's 360 and 385 yards a game. I think this one's going to be a shootout. Would also be interested in Lamar's total rushing yards over. I think he scrambles here, gets out of the pocket. So I'm going to take the over 48.5 and probably put a little bit on Lamar Jackson over rushing yards. All right, that is going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.